The value case deals with questions of what is right and wrong, what's ethical or unethical, what's moral or amoral or immoral. It gets into how values are defined for the issue and whose standard set perhaps those evaluations that are out there. And that's going to change, obviously, depending on context. Well, this image stirs something very deep within me. There's a number of values that drive the choices that I make every day. They deal with family, fatherhood, security, adventure, travel, time well spent. What are your values and what are their contexts? Because they are going to inherently shape the way you see a case or the way you form an argument. So, a value case happens when a comparison or a social judgment is advanced in some kind of argument. That at that point it becomes an argument of value. Okay, so those two things, social judgment or comparison, becomes your criteria. Your arguments are derived when you evaluate, or when you compare, or when you argue the harms, or when you argue the advantages, or when you argue the disadvantages. Okay? So while some of these might hearken to policy or to facts as far as advantages and disadvantages are concerned, here we're going to get into matters of proof in terms of those advantages or disadvantages as well. So when you consider the constructive argument for this class, you need to consider the values, and you'll find them in your claim. Okay, here our claim is that abortion is wrong, and then you'll find them also in the grounds. The rights of the fetus outweigh the rights of the mother, and then you'll even find them in the implied warrant here. Abortion is wrong because it takes a human life. But your assessment doesn't stop there. You need to assess values through definition. What criteria is being used to define the value? What does best interest really mean? Values need to be assessed through relevance or relevancy. What argument is more relevant to the value of human life? Is it the rights of the mother, or is it the rights of the unborn baby? Is the value distorted or misrepresented to apply the argument? Like this line, she gave up her rights when she had sex. Assess the value through importance. So on that hierarchy, what is more important? And this is where, and the reason why the whole abortion debate will never be solved, because um, it's difficult to make a decision between that hierarchy of importance. Is it a woman's choice, or is it the life of the fetus? And does life begin with the fetus? Do women have the legal choice? We can go on and we've gone on for decades on this argument, and it's the reason why I'm using it for this case, because you can't use it for yours. Anything I use here, you can't use for your cases. And believe me, I've heard enough abortion cases to make you want to barf. These values stem from the American Value Systems. A book came out called Argumentation and the Decision-Making Process by Reiki and Sillars. And within that, they codified 6 different American value systems. So, and this isn't coming from me, okay? This is in the study of rhetoric, what's out there. The first one being the Puritan pioneer peasant ideals. So these are individuals who have an obligation to themselves and to their people around them, even their God, to work hard and to remain righteous. The values are virtue and hard work and temperance and dependability and sobriety. Next is the value of enlightenment. And here's where individuals discover truth through reason, truths like freedom and nature and science, liberty, individualism, knowledge, reason, and progress, which leads me to my next value, which is progressive values. The idea that progress is inherently good, and it continues to make things better, better practicality, better efficiency, better change for equality and the evolution of mankind. And then there's transcendental values. Intuition is higher than reason. It involves the centrality of love for others. It's the golden rule. These values are humanitarian. They deal with respect and truth and equality and love and kindness and compassion and friendship. And then there's the value of personal success. It's where the person has a pragmatic concern for material happiness of the individual, for personal achievement. Values include career and security, family, identity, health, dignity, consideration. And lastly, there's the collectivist values. It's the recognition that some control of the excesses of freedom are perceived necessary. So here's where we deal with cooperation and unity and brotherhood and social good and order.